Hey, it's Rob. Welcome to Axel's Garage. Well, I'm sitting here during the week and I'm watching YouTube because I do watch a lot of YouTube, more YouTube than I watch TV. And one of the channels that I watch is Project Farm, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Project Farm. Does a lot of reviews, mostly automotive related, and I find his reviews very impartial, very interesting, and very well done and well thought out. And I do buy things that he reviews and rates high. So I'm watching one of his videos, popped up as a suggested. Wasn't that I was looking to do anything or buy anything. And what happened? Well, he reviewed dash cams, and I had always been intrigued a little by dash cams. Thought that maybe they're a good idea, maybe they're not, I don't know. Here we go, back and forth, but never really didn't have a need to buy one or install one now. However, he did a video, and I start looking at his top 3 rated ones. He reviewed about 5 or 6 of them, and I'm looking at his final scores and stuff, and they were pretty inexpensive. I think the most expensive one was a little over $100. And he said what the prices were on his reviews. So I was going to go for his top review one, and that was about $110 or $120. Not that expensive with regard to a dash cam. And so I click on it, I look on it on Amazon, and then I click on the one that he reviewed in the number 2 spot. Just for comparison purposes, I was just comparing the features and stuff. I actually clicked on 1, 2, and 3, had them open in different windows, and I realized that number 2 he had listed at like $90, and it was on sale for like $50 on Amazon. So I went for number 2 because being a little budget minded and seeing that it was $50 and he rated it number 2, I said, well, you know what? That's the one to test and gamble on. We do have a bunch of vehicles, and you know, if I really liked them, maybe I'd put them in more than one vehicle. So I bought the number 2. It was a little over $50, Amazon Prime. It's the Cool Crazy. They all have really weird names. So Cool Crazy, got it in. Wasn't planning on doing that today. It wasn't planning on doing anything like this today. But you know what happens? Yeah. You watch a video and you get sucked into an idea. So we're going to take the Cool Crazy. We're going to fire it up, see how easy or hard it is to install, and we're gonna put it in Ellen over here. That's our 2023 Ford Maverick that we use as our road trip vehicle when we don't have to load up too much stuff. Awesome mileage, nice and comfortable to drive. We really like it. So let's go over to the car, take this Cool Crazy stuff out of the box, and see what we got to do. So now, sitting here in Ellen, I did take out the insert with just a little bit of information, and I kind of skimmed through the user manual. There's an app, and I think you connect you Wi-Fi or Bluetooth to the app, and I think that's the easiest way to set it up from what I could tell. The storage card capacity maximum is 256 Google bits, and it comes with a 64 card. So I did order a 256 card because I think that you should just go for the biggest card. That gives you the most amount, because how these work is they write over. Once they run out of storage room, they start to overwrite. So, you know, if you get into an accident or have some kind of incident that you want to save, you need to go on the app and download it so it doesn't overwrite it. There is a crash sensor built into these things that you can set so that if you're in a crash, it'll lock that video and not write over that video. But I'm not really 100% sure on how all that works, because the user manual gives you a real basic understanding of how it works. I think it's a little bit more detailed when you do download the app. They give you a little card in here with a QR code for an installation video. Why would I watch that? This was just an envelope that had the owner's manual. It's got the mount, which is a suction cup mount, not an adhesive mount, and I kind of like that better. Hopefully it's a nice, rigid, firm suction cup mount. And it does have a GPS built into it also. Not GPS for you to do navigation, GPS so that the camera knows where it is, and I think it stores that information in the video. The camera itself, not too big at all. It does have a screen on the back. Decent small camera with a large lens, and that's probably a good thing, because, you know, little micro lens usually doesn't give good video. It's supposed to be 4K video. Then it does have a rear cam also, which the #1 rated one that he had in his list didn't have a rear camera. I don't know, you know, the importance or how important or how much you might want a rear camera, but the rear camera is just a 1080p camera, which is probably fine. A nice long cable. I believe it's 20 feet or something along those lines. It's a pretty long cable to route to the rear. What else do we have in here? We have some, it looks like some adhesive backed wire clips, unless if you have to clip the you know, to get the wires out of the way. It comes with a little lens cleaning rag, and now we got another sort of little baggie. It's got a lot of more wires in it. Okay, so this baggie has the power. Okay, I didn't know. Luckily, I do have one. Okay, so it's got USB-C power. So on one end is USB-C that plugs into the unit itself. The other end is a cigarette lighter adapter, which I don't really care for this setup, because I thought this was going to be a USB-C cigarette adapter, so that you could plug it directly into a USB port with an adapter, or a USB-C port, or use, you know what I mean, like one of the adapters that have the plugs on the back. That would be much better than a hardwired one, because if you didn't have a spare cigarette lighter plug, now you're shit out of luck, unless you start cutting wires and making your own deal. They do sell a hardwire kit that comes with like those fuse taps that you can use. So what else is in here? There is a trim tool, they call this. This is to tuck the wire behind your trim. It's just a little plastic pick. So they do have a hardwire kit, and the way I understand it in my primitive research that I did on this, most of these cameras have a parking mode, and the parking mode will either record or time-lapse record. However you have it set up. You could have it set up to time-lapse record. You could have it set up to impact record, so that if the vehicle feels some kind of impact, it'll save that footage for when you're parked. However, the camera needs to have power when you're parked. So if your cigarette lighter port in your vehicle doesn't have full-time power, which I don't know whether mine does or not, to be honest with you, then your parking mode's not going to work, and you'd have to go buy the hardwire kit. If you're but if your cigarette lighter has full-time power, which some vehicles do, some vehicles have two. One has full-time power and one only has power when the ignition is on, then your parking mode would work. So I don't know if my parking mode's going to work or not, because I have no idea whether I have full-time power or not. So what I am going to do, and what they actually said, and part of the directions that I did read, was they said before you start figuring out your mounting locations and wire routing and doing all that, or starting on that part of the installation, they want you to plug everything in, not assembled, and make sure that it all works. Doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me that they want you to do that to make sure it works. Like, really make sure it works? Okay, there doesn't seem to be any kind of LED light or anything lighting up on this thing. I plugged it into the cigarette lighter adapter. Let me turn the ignition on. Hopefully the GoPro is strong, because that was quite a fall right onto the cinder block curb. Okay, I don't think you're gonna fall there. So let's turn the ignition on and see if there's any. Yep, okay. Okay, so this vehicle does not have full-time power to the cigarette lighter plug. There are two little very dim, nice. They're not going to be distracting. Green lights in the cigarette lighter adapter. All right, so the USB-C, I'm going to plug that in, and the camera powers up. All right, on the label for the Cool Crazy here, it says, please read manual before using. Please do a bench test before installation. This is, I guess this is considered the bench test. It is recommended to use branded Class 10 micro SD card to record a 4K video. The micro SD card should be formatted in the dash cam before use, and it would be better to be formatted every 3 months. Please contact us if you have any questions with an email address, and there's another QR code on it for installation and warranty. All right, it asks you to pick your language. Okay, so here's okay. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons on it. You got an M as in Mary, you got an arrow up, an arrow down, a power button, and an OK button. So let me move this camera so you can see what I'm seeing. I wasn't recording and I was talking. It takes you through, so you got your buttons on the bottom, your M, arrow up, power, arrow down, and OK. And it had me pick a language, set the date and time, which was already accurate, and pick your time zone. Now kilometers or miles per hour, OK. And format, please format the memory card regularly. Okay, is there a memory card? The memory card is in there. There's the card slot for the memory card. It's in there. So please format. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK. All right, and there's my camera. And it's blinking red. I don't know if it's recording. All right, and there's the settings. So do the buttons correspond with, yeah. So the buttons on the bottom correspond with what's there. So Wi-Fi off, resolution 4K, loop recording 1 minute, sound recording is on, light frequency, light source frequency. I don't know what that means. I guess I'll have to look up what that means. Let's arrow down. So light source frequency is 60 hertz. I'm not sure what that means. Mirror flip, rear cam flip, screensaver, 3 minutes, preview mode front, volume setting high, G sensor low, that's the crash sensor, language English, time setting, we already did the time setting, storage, format reminder is on, so it'll remind you to do formats, firmware version, installation and warranty. So let me go down to the SD card, because we know that we got to do that stuff. So storage, okay, video 413 megabytes, picture other 500 megabytes, capacity 58.3 gigabytes. Let's arrow. How do I get to format SD card? I have a touch screen. I'm arrowing up and down. Oh, formatting, okay. Formatting complete. I just hit OK. It looked like you had to highlight that, but I guess not. All right, so we're formatted. So now I guess I should download the app. Stand by, I'll download the app. Let me find out where the fucking app is. I guess I gotta scan that QR code. All right, so let's put that there. Let's go to my phone, camera. It takes you to a website. This website may be impersonating. Okay, so we're not going to that page. All right, so I am not using that QR code. Let's see if this QR code, same thing. This is what I'm getting. And I am going to go to the App Store. And I'm going to search Cool Crazy. Cool Crazy dash cam comes up. Dash cam. So I think it's going to be this one here. Cool Crazy. Yep, that's the logo. Okay, so let's go with this one. Alright. Agree. Add camera. Wow, while using the adding camera. Okay, they show you installation. Wi-Fi. Select camera, Wi-Fi, and connect. Okay, I don't see it there, so let's go back to the app. Oh, maybe the Wi-Fi is off on the camera here. Let's go. Wi-Fi is off, so okay. Wi-Fi. How do I turn it on? Wi-Fi. On. On, off. Okay. On. Wi-Fi on. Okay. So let's go to Wi-Fi. Select camera Wi-Fi. Please select camera Wi-Fi and enter the password in the settings Wi-Fi option and return to the app after enter the password. Enter the password. How would there be a password? Wi-Fi is on. Maybe I just gotta get out of this. Camera's recording. So the Wi-Fi is flashing now. Okay, now I got a thing here. Let's see. Come on. Enter the password. It's kind of silly. How would there be a password? Alright, I think I'm doing something wrong with this Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi's on. Okay. Figured it out. Apparently, the QR code on the Wi-Fi screen and the QR code in the manual takes you to this one right here. See, it says Vidyer, not Cool Crazy. It's the same app. I still continue to use Cool Crazy. The reason why the Wi-Fi wasn't transmitting was I didn't have this suction cup mount which contains the GPS connected, because apparently that's the antenna for it to transmit the Wi-Fi. So that's why it wasn't working. So now it's working. If I go to the app, Cool Crazy, it's going to show there's what the camera sees. Right, if you could see that, and then I guess you can go to settings and you could adjust all your settings there. So it connects. Let's see what else I have. Camera settings. Let me go back. Let's put the camera down. Was that a picture? Oh, you could take a picture, video. Oh, you could pause the recording, start the recording. I'm not sure. I think it's interfering with the GoPro. I hit play and pause, and my GoPro turned off. That's kind of weird. But here's the memory card. These are the clips that it took while we were futzing around with it. And I guess you can go and you can lock them, right? It's in loop, locked, select. So let's select that one. And I could download or delete. Okay. All right, cancel. You could select all. Snapshots. I did take one snapshot, and I have none locked right now. So if I go, well, I don't want to do that. I want to select that one. Oh, I can't lock it. So ones that get locked, I get it. Okay. So it's going to take a little bit of a learning curve. All right. So now we're all set up. And, I just didn't test the rear camera. Let me plug the rear camera in and see if See what that does, because I don't know where you're going to see the rear camera. Let me try that. All right, so I plugged in the rear camera. I think I have to go to settings here. Collision setting, video, loop record options, recording, snapshot, memory card. Where do you see the rear camera? Do I have to turn the... I can't do that in here? Camera settings, video, advanced, general, and that's everything. I bet you can't do everything from here. Okay, so let me go back to the camera. Back to the camera, and let's go to settings. Oh, disconnect the app before. Okay. I have my finger on the power button. I turned off the app. So now I'm back to this because it says you got to disconnect the app. Oh, I'm sorry, you're up here. What happened? Did I turn it off? What did I do? Pull out any wires. Oh, my car turned off. That's what happened. My ignition timed out. Okay. Now, settings. Why is Wi-Fi off? Why does Wi-Fi go back to off? That's weird. I don't know why. Why does it default to Wi-Fi off? Now if I open my app, connect camera. Why would it default to Wi-Fi off? I just want to see where the rear camera goes. Oh, I know why. Because it's not always going to connect to... You're only going to... When you want to pull something down, you connect to it. Right, so you don't want it to connect to the Wi-Fi on the camera every time you get in the car. Yeah, okay, that would be silly. All right, good. So now I'm connected. If I go to the app, I don't want to do this fucking... It keeps asking me to submit a thing. I don't want to submit a thing. Okay, so let me put this down now. Right. Why is it not showing? What is this here? Okay, so this is the rear camera, and that's the front camera. Okay, so you can flip flop. That's front camera, and that's rear camera. Am I even on the screen here? So you hit this, and it flip flops from the front camera to the rear camera. So that this one now. I'm on front camera. Now I'm on rear camera. Now if I go to memory card. Oh, okay, it gives you a prompt. Front, back. Front, back. Front. Okay. All right. Okay. It seems like this app interferes with the wireless and the GoPro somehow. Because the GoPro kept turning on and off. So I don't know what I got recorded or not. So let's just close this app out because I don't need this anymore. Okay. And that other app I don't need. All right. Okay. I'm going to apologize in advance. I don't know if I need to, though, because I have no idea what you saw. Because the app kept on interfering with the GoPro and was turning the GoPro off and on. So if some shit got cut out, oh well. Anyway, a little bit of growing pains. Trying to get the app connected. You got to have it all hooked up. I didn't have the antenna on. I don't know if you saw that. So that's that part of it. Now, the next part is mounting. I'm grabbing the camera here. So the camera with the suction cup, okay, and you got to figure out a good mounting location. So you can put it up in the corner of the window. You could try to put it behind the rear view mirror. Every vehicle is going to be a little different. A lot of vehicles like to have a big freaking thing behind the rear view mirror now, like this one does. So we'll have to try to figure out which way. It's either got to be, you can't mount it vertically. Yeah, you got to be horizontal either way, because you can flip the screen in the settings. So we're gonna try that now. I'm gonna try to find a mounting spot. Stand by. All right, well, after a little while of tucking and running wires, and just a lot of running wire, trying to tuck it behind the trim and everything up in the headliner, we got it all mounted up. So I got the camera mounted as close to that center box as I possibly can, high up on the windshield as I possibly can, so it's out of the way. Sitting here in the passenger seat like you would normally sit, it doesn't block your view at all. It's up there, but it's really not in the way. And from the driver's side, it's really not blocking view or in the way at all. What I did was I took the wires up in the headliner, then they come down, tuck them behind the panel here. Down below, I took this side panel off, and I got them like that, tucked over there. So the power wire runs across above the glove compartment, and then comes down and right into the cigarette lighter plug. I got the wires zip tied and tucked out of the way so that they won't fall and, you know, interfere with the glove compartment. Behind the glove compartment, changing the cabin air filter, they're out of the way of that. And even if we have to unplug it for whatever reason, we could lay the plug down in there and the wire will stay put over there. The wire going to the back camera, I ran, took the weather stripping off and I ran it in the sill, ran it back in this sill, and then up this panel into the back, into this corner, and tucked it up in the headliner. Again, hopefully it won't fall. I don't think it will. And then I have the rear camera mounted right there in the center of the window. I wanted to put it over here initially in the side, but the view was a lot better being centered. And it does have a rotating, you know, lens, so you can, you know, click it up, click it down, so that you can get the picture that you want to get. The lens on this camera also moves, so that the lens swivels independent of the camera unit itself, so you can adjust the camera unit so that it's out of your way and easy to see, and you could also adjust the lens. So we did a little and found the happy medium so that we can see the camera when we want to see it. You could leave this on, oh, I'm up here, so you could leave this camera, right now it's on rear view. You could put it on split screen where you see front and rear. You could just put it front and just put it rear. You could just have a screensaver and have it off. You don't need to have it on at all. I just have it on for right now because it's new and we'll probably want to look at it from time to time and play with it. So that's it today. Really kind of easy to put in. Running the wires, depending on how neat you want to run wires, and depending on your vehicle, makeup will be the brunt of the time in doing this. I'm going to link this camera in the description below, and I'll also link the video that Project Farm did that caused me to buy a backup camera, to buy a, what do they call these things? Dash cam. To buy a dash cam to begin with. Wasn't even thinking of buying one, wasn't even planning on doing one today. It was wax the car day today, and well, I put a camera in first and now I'm going to start waxing. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.